these rallies all the time. We see some of the same faces, but we need to get out into the community to energize everyone, to let them know that their vote matters. The richest man in America gets one vote. The poorest man in America gets one vote. This is the balancing of the petition for all of us to be reviewed as American citizens. This is the greatest right that we have.
To be here with you today. I've lived my whole life in Flint, and we've been battered. We've been kicked around by our state government. We've been lied to from people all the way up to the governor's office.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And we continue to be lied to.
Yes.
We continue to be told that everything's okay. But I'll tell you, we're Flint strong. Are we not?
Yes.
Well, like Sheldon and Jimmy and so many here, I'm a child of Flint. Born and raised here. Spent my whole life here. Flint Northern High School, right, Sharon? My classmate. But you know what? What happened here, what happened to this community, it broke our hearts. Because what happened was a completely avoidable set of circumstances. It was not a storm, not some natural disaster. It was a completely avoidable and sadly predictable condition. It was not the result of something beyond our control, sadly. It was the result of an election. It was an election. There was a choice made by not enough of us, because a lot of folks were not involved in that choice because they sat home, because they felt like their voice didn't matter. And we have had to learn that hard lesson for 8 long, painful, 8 excruciating years. To have a philosophy of government in place in Lansing, and sadly now in Washington, that says the wealthy and the powerful get theirs, and folks who live in places like Flint are on their own. This is.
But you have done an incredible work in order to get that word out, and so thank you. We can't tell you how appreciative we are, because there is so much at stake. And nobody knows that better than the people of Flint. And if you're voting and using your voice to vote for change, for accountability, for inclusion, for equality, for justice, then you need to vote for Megan and for Sam and finish the ballot, finish the ticket, encourage other people, everyone you know, to stay on the ballot and to vote the nonpartisan section, because there is so much at stake, but there is such a tremendous opportunity. And we have the opportunity to take back 2 seats this year and really make a difference up on the Supreme Court and restore some democratic values to Michigan Supreme Court. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank you for the work that you're going to do over the next 3 days to keep that message out. We can't do this without you, so thank you.
Thank you. And I am Sam Bagenstos. I say the name Sam Bagenstos because you never heard the name like Bagenstos before. You got to remember the name Bagenstos. So I went to court to fight for the people of Flint because what the water crisis has been about, and I say has been because we know it's not over. What the water crisis has been about, it's been about folks in other parts of this state and leaders telling the people of this city that you all don't count. And I've been committed my entire career as a civil rights lawyer to the proposition that everybody counts. That's what the courts are about. The courts are the one place where, no matter how rich you are, no matter how powerful you are, you can be called to account if you do wrong, and you can go in and make a complaint against anybody, no matter how high and mighty they are, and to say that your rights are violated. We haven't had a state Supreme Court that has stood up for our rights for 20 years. We can make a fundamental change in our courts this year if Sam Bagenstos and Megan Kavanaugh get elected.
This sounds emotional for me, because I've spent my entire career, from where I started at the Southern Poverty Law Center investigating hate groups and hate crimes, and being near Selma, knowing how much has been sacrificed so we could have a democracy for everyone, and all the work I've done throughout those decades to protect the right to vote. Nowhere is it illustrative more what happens when voices are silenced than here in Flint. Schools, kids are affected, kids get sick, roads crumble. And, you know, I was thinking as I was standing up there about a city election that you had several years ago. I remember it vividly because I was driving, it was an election day here in Flint, and I heard on the radio, on election day, the
the announcement of an emergency manager being sent to Flint. On election day, you were all told your voices weren't going to matter, that an emergency manager was going to come in and make decisions on your behalf. You all know what's at stake in this election, and you all know what it means when your votes aren't counted and your voices aren't heard. And all of that, all that you've experienced in the past 8 years, all the times you and so many people here have been told your votes don't count, your voices don't matter. That all changed.
Like the 8th or 9th time I've been to Flint, and I want to tell you why. You see, the day after Labor Day, the first day of campaign season, I was here with your great Mayor Karen Weaver at 7 o'clock in the morning to greet children and families on the first day of school. You know why? Because it's important that the people and the families of Flint know that the Whitmer-Gilchrist administration is going to be there for them. It's going to have everybody's back. Because that's how important this choice is. That's how important this election is. You see, I want you to remember something when you're talking to people for these next 3 days. You see, the reason that we're fighting against the bad, see, we're organizing because we know bad things have happened. We're organizing. That's what motivates people to step up and to make all these phone calls and knock on these doors. But it's something different on Tuesday. See, the organizing is about the anger of the past. The voting is about the hope for the future. See, I believe in the people of Flint. The people of Flint are a hopeful people. You're resilient people, a powerful people. And you're going to step up and stand tall on Tuesday so that we can move forward boldly. So that we can define a future that's big enough for every man, woman, and child in this beautiful,
but every
community.
day I'm reminded why I do this. And the work that we are going to do together is going to be powerful and change lives. But we got 3 days left. And everyone has to be all hands on deck. Right. And I just realized we get an extra hour because of daylight savings time. So, the laundry can wait till Wednesday. We're going to take that hour and put it into getting out the vote. Because this last 700 days of marches, of parades, of resisting, doesn't matter if we don't turn it out for the next 3 days and change, right?